acceptable for someone to create a documentary about you without your approval? How would you feel if it happened to you?
Now he owes, and I'm going to say in a short way, at least 80,000, if not 180,000.
Welcome back to BuzzBuster. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss daily videos. Jim Jones and his podcast crew stepped way over the line when they started clowning 50 Cent's documentary work live on air. And that decision blew up in their faces fast. Instead of firing back with a diss track or some online shots,
Definitely not acceptable. It's facetious and petty.
Right. It's like somebody putting out just
50's team went a completely different route. Cold, calculated, and business-minded. They didn't just clap back, they went straight for the thing that actually hurt. What happened next was total chaos. A leaked partnership video exposed eviction footage that ended with Jim Jones literally locked out of his own studio. What started as a rap feud turned into a full-blown corporate power move. This is the story of how 50 Cent's camp responded when Jim Jones tried to test G-Unit. Part 1. The podcast that started it all.
Permission, and you're not an actual star. And they do it.
the lighting wasn't good.
On February 19th, 2026, security footage hit the internet showing Jim Jones kicking his way through a locked door at his own podcast studio after the power got cut and the locks got swapped. Here's the twist. That footage wasn't leaked by some random fan account. It came straight from 50 Cent himself, working alongside the landlord, claiming ownership of the property. From there, everything spiraled. 50's business partner, the landlord, and even Cameron, Jim's old Dipset partner, all jumped into the mix. Eviction paperwork dropped, private phone calls leaked, and the whole thing turned into a public spectacle. They dragged Jim for it not even keeping the lights on, and the internet completely lost it. This wasn't about fists or bars anymore. It was about leverage and control. And it landed hard, right out in the open, because it was cold, deliberate payback. All of it traced back to one single podcast episode from 2 months earlier, one conversation that lit a fuse 50 Cent wasn't going to let go. Back in December 2025, Jim Jones sat down with Mino Faye and Dave East on an episode of Let's Rap About It, and that one conversation kicked off a storm nobody saw coming. Things were chill at first on the Let's Rap About It set, until the topic shifted to documentaries. That's when the energy changed instantly. Dave East asked one loaded question: is it cool to make a documentary about somebody without their approval? And that was it. The whole room caught fire.
You just look bad. Oh, it caught me on a bad day. I wasn't even on my... This thing caught a week.
Jim Jones didn't hold anything back. He called that kind of move facetious and petty. Mino compared it to leaking someone's private footage without their consent, and everyone piled on, saying how foul it was to drop clips just to make somebody look bad. Tension was climbing by the second, but anyone tuned in could tell this wasn't about some random filmmaker. The timing gave it away completely. Everyone knew exactly who they meant. 50 Cent had just released Sean Combs' The Reckoning, a Netflix docuseries digging into serious allegations against Diddy. And the Let's Rap About It crew clearly felt he'd crossed the line. They labeled the whole project exploitative, questioning 50's motives, saying the series felt more like a public shaming than actual journalism. Their tone got harsher with every sentence, turning a casual chat into a real debate about respect, loyalty, and where the line actually sits. Jim and the crew came right out with it. They said 50 wasn't documenting, he was detonating. They framed it as him using the camera like a weapon, turning storytelling into a public execution. You could feel the tension buzzing through that studio. Raised voices, side eyes, everyone agreeing this wasn't just messy. It was built to destroy somebody's reputation for good. Then Jim Jones dropped a line that changed everything. He said, "A documentary should honor you, not tear you down." And he said it with his whole chest. Whether that was a general statement or a subtle shot at 50, that's still up for debate. Faye jumped in too, digging even deeper, questioning whether shows like that were even legal, bringing up defamation and unauthorized use of someone's likeness. That moment set the stage for a storm that had barely even started. Mino later tried to smooth things over on Instagram, claiming his comments were part of a general conversation about documentaries, not a direct shot at 50 Cent. But by that point, it didn't matter, because 50 wasn't reading it as some abstract discussion. He took it personally, and once 50 Cent takes something personally, words are never the end of it. He turned the whole thing into a full takedown.
The likeness dark.
Damn.
You see the likeness dark?
He looking small
Still
out
put
here.
this on the internet?
Word.
Next thing anyone knew, 50 was online dragging the entire Let's Rap About It crew, calling them squatters and bums, and claiming they owed a staggering $250,000 in unpaid rent on their podcast studio. Then, just to twist it further, 50 reposted their own podcast clips with brutal captions and outright taunts. He even joked about buying the whole building out from under them, ice cold. From there, 50 shifted into full demolition mode, tearing into their reputations one by one like it was a business transaction. But Mino wasn't staying quiet. He clapped back on Instagram with his own heat, throwing personal jabs at 50 and telling him not to test the smoke. Then, on Christmas Day 2025, Mino dropped a squatters' rights freestyle, rapping over 50's own beats and firing shade right back. Bold move, no argument there. But it blew up in his face. Instead of slowing 50 down, it just handed him more material to publicly roast the whole crew. Anyone watching could see it. This wasn't just back and forth chatter anymore. 50 was on a mission. Jim Jones and his co-host had no clue that calling out 50's documentary work would crack open a door this dangerous, and 50 walked straight through it, lease agreement in hand. The podcast debate was one thing, but what came next from 50 was on a completely different level. Instead of jumping into a diss track war or firing off shots on Instagram, 50 Cent went for something far colder. He aimed straight at the foundation of Jim Jones' entire operation, the landlord behind his studio. Fans later called the move downright diabolical. And honestly, they had a point. 50 got on the phone with the building's owner, a man named Sam, and didn't just record the call. He shared the whole thing with the world. In that recording, Sam broke it all down. He described how things with Jim Jones and the Let's Rap About It crew had gone from promising to straight up toxic. Per Sam, Jim had been operating on shaky lease terms, pushing for major renovation perks, demanding special treatment, and dragging his feet on finalizing the paperwork that would have made the whole deal official. Sam made it sound like Jim wanted every perk that comes with being the boss, without actually covering the cost that comes with it. But it turned out the financial mess ran a lot deeper than anyone realized. Sam wasn't just some landlord collecting checks. He claimed he actually held a contractual stake in the podcast's content itself. Yes, you read that right.
No front. I think if they saluting you,
First of all, they want somebody doing a documentary.
Half of everything Jim and his crew recorded reportedly belonged to the building owner under their original agreement. And according to Sam, Jim hadn't been upfront about the show's earnings or the money actually coming in. That silence broke whatever trust was left between them. Things got so bad that Sam decided he was done. He wanted completely out of the partnership. And who did he offer to sell his share to? None other than 50 Cent. That single move showed exactly how cold-blooded and business-driven this whole thing had become. Sam had lost all faith in Jim's camp and was ready to cash out, handing his stake straight to the man already at war with his tenant. This wasn't just industry drama anymore. It had turned into full-on business warfare. 50 Cent had just bought himself a front-row seat to Jim Jones' downfall. Then came the number, the one that dominated headlines for a full week and completely flipped the narrative around the Let's Rap About It crew. Sam dropped a bombshell online. He claimed the unpaid balance for the podcast studio was massive. Reports ranged anywhere from $80,000 to $180,000, with some outlets pushing the figure all the way to $250,000. No matter which number people latched onto, the message was crystal clear. Jim Jones' entire podcast operation was buried in debt. The irony was brutal. The same crew that sat in that exact studio questioning 50's ethics apparently couldn't even keep the lights on while doing it. And 50 made absolutely sure everyone saw it. He didn't keep that landlord call behind closed doors. He posted it publicly for millions to hear. This wasn't petty revenge anymore. It was a calculated, business-level takedown. And 50 Cent executed it like a professional. 50 didn't just drop that landlord call and move on. He tagged everybody. His captions were dripping with mockery, making it obvious this wasn't gossip or random trolling. This was a straight-up power flex. He wanted the whole world to see who was really running things now. The message hit hard. While Jim Jones and his crew sat around debating whether 50's documentaries were exploitative, they apparently couldn't even afford the chairs they were sitting in. But for 50 Cent, this wasn't the ending. It was just the opening act. Soon, rumors started spreading online that 50 hadn't just exposed the situation, he'd actually partnered with or flat out bought the building from Sam. Practically overnight, the man went from online troll to legitimate property owner. And then came the post that froze the entire timeline. 50 hit Instagram with a caption that had fans losing their minds. "Sam is my partner. I own the joint. Now you gonna fix every door you kick, or I'm gonna kick you, Jimmy." Whether that statement was completely true or just another one of 50's signature power plays didn't really matter, because the perception had already taken over. To the public, 50 Cent wasn't just clowning Jim Jones anymore. He was his landlord.
It gotta be dope.
Showing who you are, what you've done,
Bullshit
everything you've
over.
accomplished. Like, a documentary is a big thing. Like, you don't want nobody doing a documentary about like trying to just make your whole character look weak. Like, that's
And what happened next locked that perception in for good. On February 19th, 2026, 50 dropped something nobody expected. No diss track, no meme, no slick caption. Just cold, hard security footage. It was time-stamped, crystal clear, and brutally embarrassing. It showed Jim Jones and a few members of his crew standing in the hallway of the IFC film studios, trying to get into their locked podcast room, the same space that now symbolized 50 Cent's latest victory. The doors were sealed, the power was cut, and the whole scene unfolded like something you couldn't look away from. The footage showed Jim wrestling with the door, muttering something about the lights being out, and when it wouldn't give, he flat out kicked another one open. The moment was raw, unfiltered, and humiliating to watch. That video wasn't just an eviction notice, it was a statement. A move so calculated it turned what had started as petty back and forth into a full-blown hip-hop moment. 50 had taken checkmate to a whole new level, locking out his rivals while the cameras rolled the entire time. Every second of that scene got caught in crystal clear HD by the building's own security system, a system 50 Cent apparently had complete access to. And of course, 50 wasn't about to let a moment like that just slide by. He posted the footage with a cold, mocking caption aimed straight at the ego. "Damn, bro, this wouldn't happen if we was friends. Wanna be friends? I don't know. Let's rap about it. LOL. That "let's rap about it" callback wasn't just a joke, it was a surgical strike. A calculated troll built to sting deep and remind everyone exactly who was really in control. But 50 didn't stop at the video, he went further still. He uploaded an actual eviction notice addressed to Joseph Jones and IFC Management LLC, turning receipts straight into ammunition. The paperwork laid it all out in brutal detail. A 15-day default notice that had already expired on January 22, 2026, followed by a 5-day termination notice that ran out on February 17th. So, when Jim Jones kicked that door down on February 19th, his lease had already been dead for 2 full days. The document even spelled out that Jones could only re-enter to grab his personal belongings, nothing more. Meaning his studio, his equipment, his entire podcast home base was officially finished. Once that footage hit social media, it exploded instantly. Comment sections lit up like wildfire. Fans couldn't believe what they were watching. Complex called it next level, while others tagged it peak petty and pure genius. But the real shock wasn't the eviction itself. It was how completely 50 had flipped the whole feud upside down. No yelling, no threats, no punches, no diss tracks, just pure strategy. He handled it through paperwork, partnerships, and surveillance footage, proving that a business power move hits harder than any bar ever could. One user on X summed it up perfectly. "This feud gonna last a lifetime." Another posted, "This is Big Brother energy for real." Fans couldn't stop speculating over how 50 even got access to those cameras.
Partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half.
Was it part of his deal with the landlord, or was there something deeper going on behind the scenes? Whatever the actual truth was, one thing was undeniable. 50 Cent had just redefined what a hip-hop feud could even look like. No need for diss records or street drama when you can end the whole game using business leverage and receipts. His partnership with the landlord didn't just give him influence, it handed him full control over the entire building's surveillance system. Every camera, every angle, every second of footage was now his to view and to post. The YouTube channel All Urban Central broke the entire saga down piece by piece, calling it the perfect storm of old beef, business drama, and social media theater. Chaotic, sure, but the kind of chaos only 50 Cent could pull off with a grand and a signed contract. The hosts at All Urban Central broke it down perfectly, describing how the internet was watching two completely different worlds collide in real time. A real eviction colliding with the absurdity of viral entertainment. It was tragic and hilarious at the same time, the exact kind of over-the-top spectacle only hip-hop could produce. They didn't dodge the biggest question everyone was asking though. How did 50 even get access to that security footage in the first place? Fans everywhere wanted an answer, but nobody had one. The idea that 50 Cent might have legally or strategically gotten into an entire surveillance system left people both stunned and impressed. That was the real power of the whole moment, the sheer contrast. This wasn't a skit or a parody, this was a real eviction, an actual legal situation, and somehow it had morphed into must-see viral content. 50 had pulled off something wild, turning a landlord-tenant dispute into pure entertainment gold. And he wasn't just trending, he was controlling the entire narrative. Then, just when everyone thought it couldn't get any wilder, 50 turned the heat up even more. He hit Jim Jones with a blunt ultimatum: pay up by Monday or it gets worse. One line, and the internet was hooked all over again. From there, 50 just kept feeding the fire, dropping new clips, tagging people, sliding in jabs day after day. Because for 50, humiliation isn't a one-time stunt, it's an actual strategy. A long game built to grind his rivals down until they either go silent or tap out for good. Meanwhile, the internet was eating up every second of it. Comment sections turned into full investigation zones, people analyzing frames like actual detectives, some fans laughing, some roasting, some just sitting in disbelief. One user joked, "From Dipset to set out." Another wrote, "The lobby boy really in the lobby." And then came the harsher ones, "Super thug can't even kick a door right," and "Grandpa Jones needs a locksmith." But the sharper takes cut a lot deeper. Fans started connecting dots, saying this clip wasn't just funny, it was exposing something bigger, that maybe a lot of these rappers don't actually have the kind of money or power they claim to. The fallout stretched way past online embarrassment. That footage didn't just humiliate Jim Jones, it cracked the image he'd spent decades building. His credibility, his wealth, his whole swagger, all of it suddenly looked shaky under the internet's microscope. And when it came time to respond, Jim didn't drop a diss track or call a press conference. He went a completely different direction.
He posted an Instagram story of himself running martial arts drills, chopping wood in front of a massive Bruce Lee poster. Part message, part metaphor, like he was saying, "I'm not done yet." Maybe it was his way of reminding everyone he still had fight left, that even after all the jokes, leaks, and locked doors, Jim Jones wasn't ready to disappear just yet. In the background of that clip, the caption read, "Kung Fu Jim, no locked doors at all." Smooth, a slick little jab, subtle but clear. The message? He wasn't trapped, he wasn't stressed, and he definitely wasn't out of moves. It was the kind of quiet response that lands harder than a rant, and commentary channels caught it right away. All Urban Central jumped on the clip fast, pointing out how Jim wasn't taking 50's bait this time. Instead of firing back with anger or feeding the chaos, he flipped the entire energy. The host nailed it. It's almost like he's saying, "Y'all got jokes, but I'm outside and I'm good." That one line summed it up completely. Jim wasn't begging for sympathy or throwing insults back, he was just standing tall, showing he could absorb a hit and keep moving. The hosts broke down exactly why this move mattered. Because with 50 Cent, the one thing you never want to do is show him his trolling is actually working. The second you react, you hand him the win. By staying calm and turning the moment into content, Jim Jones might have just pulled off the smartest counter available to him. But the breakdown didn't stop there. It went deeper, because this wasn't just about a viral eviction clip or another social media beef. This was history finally catching up. Years of tension, pride, and ego colliding in public. The feud between 50 Cent and Jim Jones runs deep, New York rap history deep. It goes all the way back to the mid-2000s when G-Unit and Dipset ruled the streets. Both crews were giants, but they never fully lined up. The tension was always simmering underneath, fed by rivalries, label politics, and loyalty lines that never quite matched. Then came 2007, the year everything blew up. That's when 50 Cent publicly took a shot at Coach Records, the label Jim Jones was signed to at the time, calling it a graveyard, live on Hot 97. That diss didn't just land, it exploded. Cameron called in mid-show to defend his label, and suddenly the airwaves turned into a live New York rap battleground. From there, it was full-on war. Words flying, crews split, the whole city watching. Behind the scenes, Dipset was already fracturing under the pressure. Jim Jones and Cameron weren't even speaking. The group was falling apart, and 50, the strategist he's always been, saw the opening and took it. That fall, he pulled off something nobody expected. In September 2007, 50 Cent invited Jim Jones and Juelz Santana to perform at a G-Unit concert, and unbelievably, they actually showed up. The crowd went crazy when they hit the stage, performing We Fly High, Dipset's own anthem, right there on 50 Cent's turf. For Cameron, that felt like straight betrayal. But for 50 Cent, pure chess, cold and calculated. He wasn't just throwing a concert, he was sending a message. 50 wanted to prove he could turn rivals into allies, even for one night. And that night, he pulled it off in front of the entire city. It wasn't just a performance, it was a statement of dominance, proving once again that in 50's world, even enemies could end up on his stage when he called the shots.
Years later, 50 Cent broke it all down himself, revealing that the 2007 move with Jim Jones wasn't some spur-of-the-moment stunt. It was calculated from the jump. He knew exactly what he was doing, reading the game like a strategist, while everyone else was just reacting. 50 saw that Jim was finally getting his first taste of major solo success with Ballin'. That record had the streets going crazy, and 50 understood instantly what that meant. Here was somebody who'd spent years in the shadows, watching other members of his own crew blow up first. That kind of hunger, 50 recognized it right away because he'd seen it before. That's what makes 50's whole approach different. His ability to read people, sense their ambition, spot their frustration, and use it all like pieces on a chessboard while everyone else is still playing checkers. And that single power move in 2007 didn't just shift alliances, it rewrote the whole game. It planted the seed for a rivalry that still hasn't died, almost 2 decades later. 50 once compared Jim Jones' position at the time to what Lloyd Banks must have felt inside G-Unit, watching other members take off first while waiting for his own spotlight. That quiet frustration, that hunger to finally get his shine, 50 recognized that same look in Jim's eyes. Jim wanted his solo moment badly, and 50 knew exactly how to use that. So he dangled the bait, and Jim bit. That infamous line, "We like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam," wasn't just a compliment, it was a weapon, a psychological jab aimed straight at Dipset's foundation. It gave Jim the validation he'd been craving while disrespecting Cameron in front of the entire world. It was a classic 50 Cent setup, blending manipulation with charm, mixing flattery and insult until the lines blurred. He played both sides with a grin, turning friendly small talk into psychological warfare. Jim soaked up that praise, and that's exactly when 50 knew his plan had landed. He saw it in Jim's eyes, pride, hunger, maybe even a bit of rivalry, and 50 used every bit of it. That one night in 2007 became the spark for an endless loop of tension, a cycle of provocation, manipulation, and payback that would keep their story alive for decades. Fast forward almost 20 years, and that same energy is still pulsing through this feud. The eviction drama of 2026? That wasn't random. It was just the latest chapter of the same long game. What looked like a petty online moment was really another 50 Cent masterclass, a lesson in how to turn every feud into fuel. Because with 50, nothing ever happens by accident. The studio lockout wasn't only about unpaid rent, it was about power, image, and control. It proved his early 2000s strategy still works flawlessly today. He's built a whole system, a beef machine, that takes every enemy and turns them into content, every controversy into clicks, and every L someone else takes into a win for his brand. That's the actual play.
50 doesn't just win arguments, he monetizes them. There's always opportunity buried in the chaos, and he's been cashing in on it for 2 decades straight. The blueprint behind 50 Cent's latest move goes way back, all the way to his legendary war with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. After surviving a shooting in 2000, allegedly tied to that camp, 50 came back harder than ever. He dropped Wakesta, built G-Unit from scratch, and launched a mixtape takeover that reshaped hip-hop entirely. But it wasn't just music, it was psychological warfare. He dismantled Ja's empire piece by piece through interviews, freestyles, and a ruthless approach that blurred the line between beef and business. Street politics turned into marketing genius. Fights, blacklists, smear campaigns, total chaos that 50 turned into triumph. His relentless mixtape grind caught the attention of Eminem and Dr. Dre, who saw the brilliance hiding inside the madness and signed him. That's how a street rivalry turned into superstardom. How one of the rawest beefs in rap history turned 50 from an underdog into an icon. And out of all that drama, 50 learned one lesson that would shape his entire career. Conflict is marketing. Whoever controls the story controls the spotlight. Most artists learn that once and move on, but not 50. He turned it into a system, a full playbook, and built an empire around it. From Rick Ross to Floyd Mayweather to Tierra Marie, every feud followed the exact same cold formula. Provoke, escalate, document, post. Then sit back and let the internet handle the rest. He doesn't just start beefs, he engineers them. Fans on X have even crowned him roast god and the best troll in the game, and honestly, it's hard to argue. Even Billboard has credited him as hip-hop's ultimate narrator, the man who stirs up chaos yet somehow stays spotless while everyone else scrambles to respond. And now, the Jim Jones saga might just be 50's most calculated move to date. No diss tracks, no fights, no wild back and forth. Instead of weapons or words, he used contracts, property deals, and paperwork. He didn't drop a song, he dropped receipts. He traded fists for filings, rap battles for real estate, turning eviction notices and security footage into a brand new form of hip-hop storytelling. It was colder, cleaner, and way more effective than any verse could ever be. Modern warfare that only 50 Cent could pull off with a smirk and a post. 50 Cent literally turned paperwork into performance art. He wasn't just posting memes, he was dropping lease terminations, time-step footage, and eviction details so precise there was zero room for confusion. Every post was a power move. Business precision mixed with pure humiliation, all in one package. And once you zoom out and look at the actual numbers, the whole picture clicks instantly. Because this was never a fair fight to begin with. 50 Cent isn't just a rapper, he's a full-blown business empire in motion. He's sold over 30 million albums worldwide, landed 3 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, and built a media powerhouse through G-Unit films and television. Add in his massive Power TV franchise and that legendary vitamin water deal reportedly worth around $100 million. And it's easy to see why 50 moves like a mogul who can't be touched. By 2026, reports had his net worth somewhere between $40 million and $100 million, depending on the source. That's not just money, that's leverage. Meanwhile, Jim Jones, still respected across hip-hop, hit his commercial peak way back in the mid-2000s with We Fly High. Since then, he's put out 7 solo albums, none of which have cracked 21,000 first-week sales since 2005. His current estimated net worth, somewhere between $400,000 and $600,000. And that gap, that massive financial divide, isn't just a stat on paper. It's the actual battlefield. So when 50 Cent offers to buy the exact studio Jim Jones can't afford to keep, that's not just business, that's dominance on full display. The power imbalance doesn't need explaining, it speaks for itself. Still, credit where it's due, Jim Jones didn't fold. He didn't go online crying, ranting, or denying anything. Instead, he flipped the whole moment into content. That Kung Fu Jim video wasn't just a joke, it was a subtle clapback, a slick way to reframe the eviction fiasco as free promo. The message was clear. Go ahead and talk, I'm still trending. Because even with 50's empire running laps around him financially, Jim Jones understood one core rule of survival in hip-hop.
As long as people are still talking, the story isn't over. Just when the internet figured he'd gone quiet, Jim flipped the script again. Not long after the wave of humiliation, he posted a new video, a full walkthrough of his studio space, showing active construction, renovations, and new projects underway. His message was simple: you can lock one door, but I'll build another. The move showed real resilience, a reminder that while 50 might be winning the money game, Jim wasn't ready to disappear. He turned the L into a marketing moment. Proof that in hip-hop, the smartest comeback isn't always a diss track. Sometimes it's a quiet rebuild filmed for the whole world to see. Rather than play the part of a man publicly clowned by 50 Cent, Jim Jones flipped the script with finesse. He reintroduced himself, not as the guy who got evicted, but as an investor, a builder, someone crafting something new from the ground up. He wasn't licking wounds, he was laying foundations. His opening line in the new clip set the tone perfectly. He didn't dodge the attention or shy away from it. He owned it. What started as public embarrassment turned into a moment of showmanship. Jim shifted the focus from the man who got locked out to the man still expanding. As the camera followed him through the raw, half-finished rooms, Jim showed off what was coming. Boutiques, barbershops, brand new studios still under construction. He pointed at the tools, the dust, the wiring, not as signs of failure, but as proof of progress. He wasn't standing in ruins, he was standing in a rebuild. Every corner told a story. And as he walked through, Jim highlighted the people grinding beside him. Young editors, stylists, videographers, artists putting in work in those same cold, unfinished rooms. Despite the lack of polish, the message rang loud. Opportunity matters more than comfort. This wasn't about luxury, it was about vision. No landlord drama or rap beef was going to derail that. Jim even leaned into the cold, literally. The low temps in the studio had become a running online joke after 50 Cent clowned him with added wind sound effects and captions showing the crew bundled up like they were filming a survival show. Instead of ignoring it, Jim laughed it off. He embraced the grind, joked about the chill, and flipped the whole tone from humiliation to hustle. That move said everything about his mindset. Own the mess, control the story, keep building. By the time the walkthrough wrapped, Jim had completely reframed the narrative. The studio wasn't just a podcast spot anymore. It was a community project, a creative hub where new talent could grow from the ground up. He presented it like an incubator, a space for up-and-coming creators with big budgets, but with big dreams. It was about giving people a start, about turning chaos into creation. He might have lost a lease, but in that moment, he showed he hadn't lost his momentum. Jim made it clear he wasn't backing down, he was reinvesting, turning what looked like a defeat into an evolution. But just as Jim started reshaping his image and reclaiming control, 50 Cent wasn't about to let things cool off. Not even for a second. The man thrives on momentum. And once the internet starts talking, 50 knows exactly how to keep the noise alive until everyone's picked a side and the whole conversation belongs to him. Within a few days, 50 Cent came swinging again, dropping a fresh wave of posts blending humor with humiliation, perfectly balanced to keep the internet buzzing. He reshared clips from Jim Jones' walkthrough, adding slick, sarcastic captions like "Investor Energy," "Eviction Tour," and "My tenant's still grinding." I respect it. He knew exactly what he was doing, keeping the algorithm spinning and the audience locked in.
And as always, the world reacted instantly. Blogs broke down every angle, reaction videos flooded YouTube, comment sections turned into full-blown war zones, G-Unit loyalists against Dipset defenders, both sides going at it like digital soldiers. But underneath the chaos, there was something deeper going on, a clash between two different generations of hustle. 50 Cent represented the corporate conqueror, the mogul who turned street survival into billion-dollar business moves, the man who weaponized beef and turned controversy into brand currency. Jim Jones, on the other hand, represented the grind from the ground-up era, the street artist turned neighborhood entrepreneur who still believed in building physical spaces, face-to-face connection, and ownership that started on the block, not in the boardroom. Their rivalry wasn't just personal anymore, it had turned philosophical, and that was the beauty of it. Both men were actually enjoying the attention. Jim even posted a caption that read, "Appreciate the promo, I love it."
By early March 2026, Jones was doubling down on real progress. He hit Instagram again, showing off fresh renovations, new lighting, new paint, even a crowd of creators back filming in the reopened space. His caption said it all: "We still working. You can't evict the vision." That one line hit the culture hard. People weren't just laughing anymore, they were rooting for him. The whole story shifted from humiliation to resilience. But of course, 50 couldn't help himself. One more playful jab. He reposted Jones' clip with that signature smirk, captioning it, "Now that's the spirit, Jimmy. Just make sure rent's on autopay." Classic 50. Part comedy, part cruelty, all entertainment. The truth? Both men were winning in their own way.
50 Cent had once again proven he could dominate headlines without dropping a single verse, turning drama straight into digital gold. Meanwhile, Jim Jones had flipped what looked like an L into an underdog comeback fans couldn't help but root for. Industry insiders started calling their dynamic the perfect storm. 50 Cent, the billionaire troll who feeds off chaos, versus Jim Jones, the scrappy survivor who refuses to go quiet. At that point, this wasn't just beef anymore. It had evolved into a whole new kind of hip-hop storytelling. Every post, every video, every clapback became another chapter in an ongoing digital saga. And as 2026 rolled on, whispers started surfacing that 50 Cent's production company was developing a docuseries about hip-hop feuds and business wars. Fans immediately started asking, would the Jim Jones saga be the season premiere? If history's proven anything, when 50 Cent gets the last laugh, there's usually a camera rolling somewhere. Then came Jim's final word, a closing statement that summed up everything. He didn't deny the drama or act like it hadn't hit him, but he didn't admit defeat either. He made one thing clear: the attention itself was the trophy. To Jim, the conversation, the memes, the headlines, the trending clips were the win. Whether that defiance actually balanced out the public damage, that's still up for debate. Not long after, reports claimed Jones had wired over $200,000 to the landlord to settle the debt and keep full control of his space. He wasn't giving up on his vision. Yet true to form, 50 kept posting like nothing had changed, reminding everyone that even if the bills got paid, the humiliation couldn't be undone. Then, right when it seemed like the tension might finally cool down, another twist hit. Cameron, Jim's former Dipset ally, jumped into the mix, mocking Jim's rumored money troubles and even joking about sending him a Zelle to help with the heat.
That jab reopened old wounds, and Jim fired right back, calling Cam soft and freaky, reigniting a feud that had gone quiet for years. Suddenly, the circle widened. Old friends turned into commentators, new shots started flying, and social media turned into a full digital boxing ring. By February 21st, 2026, there were still no lawsuits, no press conferences, just an endless storm of subs, memes, and trolling. And both sides seemed perfectly content keeping it that way, feeding off each other's energy, each trying to outlast the other in hip-hop's loudest online showdown. Because at the end of the day, this was never just about eviction or beef. It was about evolution, ego, and entertainment. And you already know, when 50 Cent's involved, the story never really ends. It just gets streamed next season. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to catch the next chapter of hip-hop's wildest power plays, make sure to subscribe. Stay locked in for more drama, strategy, and behind-the-scenes storytelling, because this saga's only just getting started.